You said Mama was resting. You said the shop was doing well. So tell me why I just saw her pushing a wheelbarrow of melons through the market with my little brother tied to her back. Chinadu, please let me explain. Explain what, Kelechi? Explain how every naira I sent for 5 years vanished into air? Explain how she looks 10 years older than when I left? It wasn't supposed to go this way. Then whose way was it supposed to go? Because it sure wasn't mine, and it sure wasn't hers. After 5 years of driving long-haul trucks between Johannesburg and Cape Town, sleeping in the cab to save on lodging, and eating dry bread for lunch so he could wire more money home, Chinadu Okafor stepped off the bus in Onitsha with a leather duffel bag, a manila envelope stuffed with every Western Union receipt he had ever kept, and a small wooden box wrapped in brown paper for his mother. Inside the box was a gold bracelet he had saved 8 months to buy, engraved on the inside with the words that had kept him alive through every lonely night on the road. For the woman who gave me everything. He had rehearsed the moment of giving it to her 1,000 times. He had pictured her sitting on the veranda of the new bungalow he had been paying to build, sipping cold zobo, wearing a fresh wrapper, her feet finally resting after decades of standing at market stalls. Welcome to today's story. If you enjoy emotional stories with unexpected twists that stay with you long after they end, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this one. And before we go any further, drop a comment and tell me where you are watching from today. Your presence means everything. But to understand how Chinadu Okafor ended up standing frozen in the middle of Ochanja Market on a Tuesday morning, watching his 63-year-old mother lift a crate of watermelons that should have crushed a woman half her age, the story has to begin with the phone call he made 3 days before he boarded that bus. He had called his younger brother Kelechi from a filling station outside Bloemfontein. He had told Kelechi he was coming home for good. He had saved enough. He had a plan to open a transport business in Aba with 2 used lorries and a warehouse. Kelechi had gone quiet for a long second on the other end of the line. Then Kelechi had said, "Brother, this is wonderful news. Mama will be so happy. She has been asking about you every Sunday after church. The house is ready. We will kill a goat when you come." Chinadu had smiled into the phone. He had believed every word. He had not questioned why Kelechi asked, 3 separate times during that short call, exactly when Chinadu's bus would arrive. He had not thought it strange when Kelechi said, "Do not surprise Mama, brother. She has high blood pressure now. Let me prepare her." He had taken all of it as the careful concern of a younger brother who had grown into a man in his absence. He had thought of Kelechi still as the skinny 15-year-old boy he had left behind 5 years ago. The boy who used to trail him around the compound asking questions about engines and lorries and how far away South Africa really was. The bus rolled into Onitsha at 10 in the morning, an hour later than scheduled. Chinadu stepped off into the wet heat of the Harmattan tired air. And the smell of the city hit him all at once. Diesel and fried yam and the distant tang of the Niger River pushing up against the wind. He waved off the boys offering to carry his bag. He had money in his pocket, but he did not want to spend it on things he could carry himself. He wanted to walk. He wanted his feet to feel Nigerian ground again after 5 years of borrowed asphalt. He decided to stop at the market first. He wanted to buy a bunch of fresh ugu leaves and some fish for his mother to cook, the way she used to when he was a boy coming home from school. He would surprise her with the ingredients for her own favorite soup. He did not know that the surprise waiting for him would not be the one he was giving. Ochanja Market at 10 in the morning was already a living thing. The narrow lanes between the stalls were packed with women in wrappers, balancing basins on their heads, boys pushing wheelbarrows loaded with yams, traders shouting prices over each other in 3 different languages. Chinadu moved through it slowly, letting the noise and the smell and the color of it wash over him. He had forgotten how loud home could be. In South Africa, the markets had order. Signs, prices printed on cards. Here, everything was negotiation and motion and the same energy that had raised him. He turned down the row where the vegetable sellers kept their stalls. He was thinking about which woman had the freshest ugu when he saw her. She was maybe 40 meters ahead, bent forward at the waist, gripping the handles of a wooden wheelbarrow piled so high with watermelons that the front wheel was wobbling on the uneven ground. A small boy, maybe 4 or 5 years old, was tied to her back with a length of blue and white cloth, his head resting against her shoulder blade. One small hand clutching a fistful of the wrapper at her neck. The woman's heady had come loose on one side. Her wrapper was faded, a pattern he did not recognize, and there was a dark stain of sweat spreading down the middle of her back. Her arms were thinner than he remembered. Her ankles were swollen. Chinadu stopped walking. He stood in the middle of the lane and other people flowed around him, and he stared at the woman with the wheelbarrow, and his brain refused for a long moment to make the connection his eyes were already making. That could not be his mother. His mother had a bungalow. His mother had a girl who came in the mornings to help her cook. His mother had a stall in a covered section of the market where she sat on a stool and sold provisions, not a wheelbarrow of melons. She pushed herself through the mud. Kelechi had told him. Kelechi had sent him photographs. Kelechi had described the new tiles on the veranda and the generator behind the house and the freezer in the kitchen. The woman set the wheelbarrow down. She reached back to steady the child on her back. She straightened up slowly, one hand pressed against the small of her spine, her face turning just enough that Chinadu could see her profile. It was his mother. The wooden box with the bracelet inside it was still in his hand. He did not remember taking it out of his bag. He did not remember unwrapping the brown paper. But there it was, and his fingers had gone numb around it. He took one step forward, and then he stopped again, because a memory had risen up in him that he could not push back down. He was 7 years old. His mother had walked him to school through this same market on his first day of primary 1, and she had told him, "Chinadu, my son, one day you are going to grow up and you are going to buy your mother a chair that she can sit down in." She had said it laughing, but she had meant it. She had been standing all his life. She had been standing all her life. He had been sending her money for 5 years so she could sit down. She was still standing. He walked toward her. His legs did not feel like his own. When he was 10 meters away, she looked up and saw him. She did not react at first. Her eyes moved over his face the way eyes move over a stranger's, and Chinadu understood in that moment that she had gone thinner in the face too, and there were shadows under her eyes that had not been there 5 years ago, and something inside him began to crack quietly. Then her mouth opened. Then her hand went to her chest. Then she said his name, and it came out as barely a sound. "Chinadu?" The child on her back stirred and lifted his head, and Chinadu saw the boy's face for the first time, and the crack inside him widened, because the child looked exactly like Kelechi had looked at that age. He closed the distance between them in 4 long steps. His mother put out one hand as if to steady herself against the wheelbarrow, and the melons shifted with a soft rolling sound, and she almost went down. Chinadu caught her elbow. He caught her the way a man catches something precious that has been slipping for a long time. Under his hand, her arm felt like a bundle of dry sticks wrapped in loose skin. He could feel every bone. "Mama," he said. His voice would not go louder than a whisper. "Mama, what are you doing?" She was looking up at him, and her eyes had filled, and one tear had already broken loose and was moving down through the dust on her cheek. She reached up with her free hand and touched his face. She touched his jaw, his chin, the small scar above his right eyebrow from when he had fallen off a bicycle at 9 years old. She was checking that he was real. "My son," she said. "My son. You are here. You are truly here. Mama, why are you pushing this thing? Where is Kelechi? Whose child is on your back?" She did not answer any of the 3 questions. She just kept touching his face. The child on her back was fully awake now, staring at Chinadu with the wide, unblinking eyes of a small boy who did not know who this strange man was, but understood that something important was happening. A woman from the nearest stall came over. She was heavy-set, wearing a bright green blouse, and she had the confident manner of a trader who had known Chinadu's mother for years. She looked Chinadu up and down. She looked at his clean clothes, his leather shoes, the strap of the duffel bag over his shoulder. "You are the one from South Africa," she said. It was not a question. "You are Chinadu." "Yes, Ma," the woman clicked her tongue against her teeth. It was a sound with a whole speech folded inside it. She turned to his mother. "Nay, sit down. Come, come, sit here on my stool. I will watch your melons. Go with your son. Go and rest small." His mother did not move at first. She was still holding Chinadu's face. The trader woman gently unwrapped the cloth from around his mother's shoulders and lifted the small boy off her back. The child made a soft sound of protest and then settled into the trader's arms as if he had been passed between these two women 100 times before. Chinadu watched all of this. He was cataloging every detail because he did not yet understand what any of it meant. "Whose child is that, Mama?" His mother finally lowered her hand from his face. She looked at the boy in the trader's arms. Her mouth moved once before any words came. "That is your brother's son. That is Ebuka, Kelechi's boy." "Kelechi has a son?" "Kelechi has 3 sons. Chinidu, Ebuka is the smallest. The other 2 are in school." Chinidu felt his stomach turn over slowly. Kelechi had never mentioned a wife. Kelechi had never mentioned children. In 5 years of phone calls and voice notes, and the occasional grainy video call, Kelechi had spoken about the house being built, about the shop doing well, about Mama being tired but comfortable, about his own work at what he had described as a shipping office in town. Kelechi had never once said the words "my wife" or "my son." "How old is he?" "Ebuka is 4. The one before him is 6. The oldest one is 8. Chinadu did the arithmetic in his head. The oldest boy had been born the year Chinadu left for South Africa. Kelechi had been 19 years old. Kelechi had been a boy himself. "Mama," he said, "sit down. Please, just sit down." The trader woman had already dragged her wooden stool over. His mother lowered herself onto it slowly, one hand still on Chinadu's arm for support, and when she finally sat, she let out a long breath that seemed to have been held in her chest for years. Chinadu knelt down in front of her so their faces were level. He put the wooden box with the bracelet on the ground beside him. It did not seem important anymore. "Mama, I need you to tell me everything. From the beginning. What has been happening in this family?" His mother looked down at her hands folded in her lap. The skin on the backs of her hands had gone thin and papery. There were small dark spots that had not been there when Chinadu left. She was working out where to begin. He could see her doing it the way she used to work out how to tell his father bad news when Chinadu was a boy, sitting at the kitchen table trying to shape hard words into softer ones. "Your brother is a good boy," she said finally. "You must remember that first, before I tell you anything else. Kelechi is a good boy. What he did not do because he is wicked. He did it because he was young and he was foolish, and one thing led to another thing, and by the time he understood what he had become, he could not find his way back. Mama, just tell me." She took a breath. "Kelechi met a girl the same year you left. Her name was Ngozi. She was from Newi. She was beautiful, Chinadu, even I could not deny it. She had light skin and long hair, and she used to come to the shop to buy provisions, and she would smile at your brother, and your brother, who was 19 years old and had a big brother in South Africa sending money every month, felt like a rich man. Do you understand what I am telling you? For the first time in his life, Kelechi had money in his pocket that he had not worked for. And this girl saw him. Chinadu felt something cold begin to gather at the base of his spine. She got pregnant 3 months after you left. Kelechi came to me. He was crying. He said he did not know what to do. I told him he had to marry her.
I told him a Okafor man does not father a child and walk away. So we went to her family. We paid the bride price. Some of the money you sent that first year, the money you said was for building the fence around the compound, that money went to the bride price. I am telling you the truth now, Chinadu. All of it. Go on, the wedding was small. You could not come. Kelechi did not want to tell you.
He said you had just started your job. He said if you knew, you would send even more, and he did not want you to. He said he would tell you when the baby was born. Then the baby was born, and he did not tell you. Then Ngozi got pregnant again 11 months later, and he still did not tell you. By then he was so deep inside the lie that he could not climb out. Where is she now? This Ngozi. His mother's face closed slightly. She left him 2 years ago. She took nothing with her. Not even the children. She said she was going to visit her mother in Newi, and she never came back. Kelechi went to look for her. Her family said they had not seen her. Somebody in the village told him she had gone to Lagos with a man who owned a hotel. Whether that is true, only God knows. But she did not come back, and Kelechi was left with 3 small boys and a mother who was getting too old to raise them a second time. So you have been raising his children. I have been raising them, yes, and selling melons to feed them, and selling provisions when I can get provisions to sell. Your brother works, Chinedu. Do not think he does not work. He drives Okada. He carries loads at the port some days. He does what he can. But 3 boys eat a lot of food, and school fees are not cheap, and the rent on the shop went up 2 years ago, and the roof of the house started leaking, and everything costs more than it did when you left. Mama, I have been sending you money every single month for 5 years. I have been sending enough for a family of 10 to live comfortably. Where has it been going? She did not answer. Mama, where has the money been going? Her hands tightened in her lap. You must ask your brother that question, my son. I cannot answer it. I have been asking him myself for 2 years, and he cannot answer me either. Chinedu stayed kneeling in front of his mother for a long moment. Around them, the market continued its noise, the calling of prices, the argument of 2 women over the weight of a basin of gari, the distant blare of a lorry horn somewhere on the main road. He heard all of it, and he heard none of it. The trader woman had taken little Abuka down the road to buy him a small bag of groundnuts, and Chinedu was grateful for that because he did not want the child to see what was rising in his face. Mama, he said, where is Kelechi right now? At this moment, where is he? He said he had work at the port today. He was going to help unload a container that came in from China. He said he would be back by evening. Which port? Which gate? Chinedu, which gate, Mama? She looked at him then, and there was something in her eyes that stopped him. She had lived 63 years in this country. She had buried a husband. She had raised 2 sons through school on the profits of a provision shop. She had absorbed disappointment the way a piece of cloth absorbs water, holding more than it seemed it could hold. She was looking at him now the way she had looked at his father the night before his father died. When his father had wanted to sit up and Mama had told him no. Lie down, rest. You are going to go and find your brother, and you are going to fight him in a public place, she said. That is what you are thinking. I know it because I raised you. Chinedu, listen to me. I did not stand in this market for 5 years pushing melons through the dust to have you come home and put your hands on your brother in front of the whole town. Do you hear me? I am not going to fight him, Mama. You are lying to your mother's face. He looked down. He was a little. Sit, she said. Sit properly. On the ground if you have to. Do not kneel in front of me like I am dying. He sat on the packed red earth beside her stool. He set his duffel bag between his feet. The wooden box with the bracelet was in his lap. He had forgotten it was there. He looked at it and he thought about how many hours he had worked to pay for it, and how he had chosen the words for the engraving during a rest stop outside Kimberley, sitting in the cab of the lorry with a pad of paper on the steering wheel, writing and crossing out and writing again. Mama, I brought you something. He handed her the box. She took it in both hands. She looked at it for a long time before she opened it. When she lifted the lid and saw the bracelet, she did not gasp or cry out. She just went very still. She lifted the bracelet with one thin finger and let the light from the market fall on it. She turned it slowly until she found the engraving on the inside. She could not read English well, but she could read enough. Her lips moved as she worked through the words. For the woman who gave me everything. She closed the box. She did not put the bracelet on. She held the box against her chest with both hands, and she closed her eyes. My son, she said. Her voice was steady, which was somehow worse than if she had wept. My son, this is beautiful. I will wear it. But I want you to know something.
I want you to hear me carefully now. I am listening, Mama. The money you sent, all of that money, it was already this bracelet. Every naira you sent me was already this bracelet on my arm. I did not need gold. Chinedu, I needed to know my son was thinking of his mother. I have known that for 5 years. You did not have to bring me anything more. He could not speak.
He put his hand over hers on top of the wooden box, and they sat like that in the middle of the market while the boys pushed their wheelbarrows past. After a while, she opened her eyes. Now, she said, now we go and find your brother. But we go together, and we go carefully, because he is still my son, and you are still my son, and I will not lose either one of you today. The trader woman came back with a buka on her hip. The little boy was holding a small twist of newspaper full of groundnuts, and there was a shy new interest in the way he looked at Chinedu, as if the strange man had begun to acquire a name in his small mind. The trader set the boy down, and Abuka walked over to Chinedu's mother and leaned against her knee without a word. He put one groundnut in her palm. She took it and ate it slowly. Chinedu watched the two of them and understood that this was a ritual they had. The child had been sharing his groundnuts with his grandmother the same way for a long time. Sister Iffy, his mother said to the trader, I am going home with my son. Watch the melons for me. Whatever you sell, keep the money for me until tomorrow. If any customer wants credit, tell them no. I am not giving credit this week. Nay, go and see your son properly. Do not worry about anything here. Chinedu reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded stack of naira notes. He counted out a sum without looking at it and handed it to the trader. Her eyes widened. This is too much. It is not too much. It is for the days you have watched her stall when she has been tired. It is for the mornings you have helped her lift the melons. My mother has told me nothing about it yet, but I know women like you, and I know what you have been doing. Take it, Ma, please. The trader looked at his mother. His mother nodded once. The trader tucked the money into the front of her wrapper and did not say anything more, but her eyes had gone a little wet. Chinedu lifted the wheelbarrow himself. He was going to push it home. His mother started to protest, and he shook his head at her once, firmly, and she stopped. He picked up Abuka in his free arm. The boy was so light. He weighed almost nothing, and Chinedu remembered how Kelechi had weighed almost nothing at that same age. Riding on Chinedu's hip through this same market 25 years ago while their mother traded. They walked out of Ochanja together. His mother went slowly, and Chinedu matched her pace. Abuka's small arm went around Chinedu's neck without being asked. The child's head rested against his shoulder. Chinedu could smell the palm oil and the wood smoke and the faint sourness of a boy who had not been bathed since morning, and something in his chest that had been clenched for the last hour loosened just enough to let him breathe. The walk to the compound took 40 minutes. It should have taken 20, but his mother had to stop 3 times to rest her hip. Chinedu did not ask her about the hip. He had already worked out that the hip was one more thing Kelechi had not mentioned. The house came into view at the end of a narrow lane between 2 mango trees. Chinedu stopped in the road. Kelechi had sent him photographs of a bungalow. Cream-colored walls, a red metal roof, a short concrete wall around the compound with a black gate, tiled veranda, small garden with hibiscus. Chinedu had those photographs on his phone. He had shown them to South African drivers at rest stops. He had shown them to the woman he had briefly courted in Pretoria before deciding that his heart still belonged to home. The house in front of him was not that house. The house in front of him was the same mud brick and cement building he had grown up in. The same one. The zinc roof had been patched with pieces of a different, newer zinc, but the patches were rusting too. The wooden shutters on the front windows were the same shutters, only more warped. The front door was the same door, only the paint had peeled off it in long strips. There was no concrete wall. There was no black gate. There was no tiled veranda. There was a small yard with hard-packed earth and a plastic basin turned upside down beside the doorstep and a scrawny brown chicken pecking at nothing near the corner of the house. "Mama," he said. His voice had gone thin. "Where is the new house?" She did not stop walking. She did not look at him. "There is no new house, my son. There has never been a new house." Chinadu set the wheelbarrow down in the yard beside the plastic basin. He set a buka down beside it. The boy immediately ran off after the chicken with a small delighted shout, and the chicken flapped its wings and hopped sideways, and for one strange moment, the sound of a child chasing a bird in a Nigerian yard was the most ordinary sound in the world. And Chinadu almost forgot what he had just heard. Almost he turned to his mother. She was standing on the doorstep, one hand on the wooden frame, catching her breath. "Mama, come inside. Sit down. I need to see everything." She let him in. The main room was almost dark because the shutters were closed against the afternoon heat. She unlatched one and pushed it open, and the light fell across a room Chinadu had not seen in 5 years, and he stood in the doorway with his duffel bag in his hand and did not go any further, because he was trying to understand what he was looking at. The furniture was the same furniture. The wooden bench along the wall where his father used to sit reading his newspaper. The low table with one leg that had always been slightly shorter than the others, propped up with a folded piece of cardboard. The framed photograph of his parents on their wedding day, tilted slightly on its nail. The Bible on the small shelf beside the doorway to the inner rooms. Everything was where it had been the day he left. Nothing had been replaced. Nothing had been added, except a small red plastic tricycle in the corner that must have belonged to one of Kelechi's boys, and a stack of school books on the table that had not been there before. There was no television. There had never been a television, but Kelechi had told him 3 years ago that he had bought one for Mama so she could watch her Christian programs on Sunday evening. Chinadu had believed him. Chinadu had increased his monthly transfer by 20% the following month because Kelechi had mentioned that the electricity bill had gone up. There was no ceiling fan. Kelechi had told him about a ceiling fan. There was no freezer in the kitchen. Chinadu could see through the doorway into the small back room that served as the kitchen. There was a kerosene stove and a clay water pot and a low wooden table with 2 enamel bowls on it, and that was all. No freezer, no gas cooker, no microwave. Kelechi had told him about all 3 at different points over the last 3 years. Chinadu put the duffel bag down on the floor. He sat on the wooden bench. His mother lowered herself onto the low table, and the leg with the cardboard prop creaked underneath her. "Where are the other boys?" he said. "At school. They come back at 3. "And Kelechi?" "He is at the port. You are sure?" "That is what he told me this morning." "Does he come home every night?" His mother hesitated. She was working out again how much truth to give him at once. "He comes home most nights. Some nights he does not. He has a friend in town. He sleeps there sometimes. He says the friend has a generator and it is easier to charge his phone there." "What is the friend's name?" "I do not know his name." "Chinadu, do not do this. Do not question me like I am a witness in a court. I am tired. Let me rest small before you ask me any more questions." He heard himself and he was ashamed. He came over and sat on the floor beside the low table and put his head against her knee the way he used to when he was a small boy, and she put her hand on his hair. Her hand shook slightly. He had not noticed before that her hand shook. "Mama, I am not angry with you. I know you are not. I am angry with him. But I am also angry with myself. I should have come home 2 years ago. I should have come home 3 years ago. Something did not feel right. I should have trusted it. Chinadu, you were building a life. You could not just leave. I could have. I should have." She did not argue with him. She just kept her hand on his hair. And outside in the yard, Ibuka was still chasing the chicken, and the chicken was still hopping, and somewhere across the neighborhood, a mosque was calling the afternoon prayer, and Chinedu closed his eyes and let himself, for the first time since stepping off the bus, feel how tired he really was. He must have slept. He did not remember lying down, but when he opened his eyes, the light in the room had shifted, and the shadows had grown longer, and his mother was no longer sitting on the low table. He sat up. His neck was stiff. He heard the sounds of children in the yard now, more than one child, and a woman's voice speaking to them, gentle and firm at the same time. His mother, talking to her grandsons. He stood and went to the doorway. The two older boys had come back from school. They were maybe 8 and 6 years old, thin like their father had been at that age, wearing the pale green uniforms of a government primary school. The 8-year-old had a small tear at the shoulder of his shirt that had been carefully mended with black thread. The 6-year-old was barefoot. They were standing very still in the middle of the yard, staring up at Chinedu the way children stare at a stranger who has appeared in their house without warning. His mother was standing beside them with her hand on the older one's back. "Boys, this is your Uncle Chinedu. This is Papa's big brother, the one who lives in South Africa. Come and greet him properly." They came forward slowly. The older one led. He stopped a respectful distance away and bent slightly at the waist. "Good afternoon, Uncle. Good afternoon, Uncle." The younger one echoed. "Good afternoon, my sons. What are your names?" "My name is Ikenna, Uncle. And this one is Chidubem." "Ikenna and Chidubem. Come here." He knelt down and opened his arms. Ikenna hesitated for 1 second and then walked into the embrace, and his younger brother followed a heartbeat later, and Chinedu held both of them against his chest and felt how thin they were through the fabric of their uniforms, how their small shoulder blades stuck out like folded wings. And he understood without anyone having to tell him that these boys did not eat meat very often. Kalichi had told him 3 years ago that he was buying beef for the family every Sunday. Chinedu had believed him. Chinedu had wired extra money that same week for Christmas because Kalichi had said he wanted to buy a whole goat. He held them a little longer than he meant to. When he released them, Ikenna looked up at him with a seriousness that seemed too old for his face. "Uncle, are you the one who sends the money?" His mother made a small sound behind him. Chinedu did not turn around. "Yes, Ikenna, I am the one. Grandma says you send it every month." "That is right. Papa says you send it because you feel guilty for leaving." The room went very quiet. Even Ibuka, who had come running up behind his brothers, stopped moving. "Is that what your papa says?" "Yes, Uncle. He says you have a big head, and you think because you are in South Africa, you are better than us, and the money is just to make yourself feel like a big man. He says we should not thank you for it, because you are only doing it for your own conscience." Chinedu felt his mother's hand come to rest on his shoulder. He did not know when she had walked up behind him. She squeezed once, hard, and he understood the squeeze. It said, "Do not react in front of the children. Do not let them see it. They are only repeating what they have heard." He smiled at Ikenna. It cost him something to smile, but he did it. "Your papa likes to joke sometimes. I send the money because you are my family and I love your grandmother very much. You do not need to thank me. You just need to grow up strong and go to school every day. Can you do that for me?" "Yes, Uncle. Good. Now go and wash your hands. I am going to cook something for all of us this evening. Something you have not eaten in a long time." The boys ran off toward the back of the compound where the water pot was. Ibuka toddled after them. Chinedu stood up slowly. His knees felt heavy. He turned to his mother. "Mama, I know, my son. He has been telling those children I do not love them. I know. Why?" She looked at him with tired, steady eyes. "Because a man who is stealing from his brother has to build a reason inside himself for why the brother deserves it. Otherwise, he cannot sleep at night. That is why. Kelechi came home just before 8 in the evening. Chinadu heard the sound of a motorcycle engine cutting off outside the compound, then footsteps on the packed earth, then the creak of the wooden door. He was sitting on the bench in the main room. He had been sitting there for over an hour. He had cooked jollof rice and stewed chicken for the boys, and they had eaten more than Chinadu had ever seen 3 small children eat, and his mother had wept quietly at the table while they ate, and now the boys were asleep in the inner room. All 3 of them piled together on the same mattress the way puppies sleep, and his mother was sitting on the low table across from him, waiting for her second son to walk through the door. Kelechi walked in. He was wearing a black t-shirt and jeans, and a pair of white sneakers that looked new. He had put on weight in the way a man puts on weight when he has been eating well and drinking beer regularly. His face was fuller. There was a gold chain around his neck that Chinadu had never seen before. He was holding a plastic bag with something inside it, some kind of takeaway food, and he was already talking as he came through the door. "Mama, I brought suya. The boys will." He stopped. He saw Chinadu on the bench. The plastic bag slipped a few inches in his hand before he caught it. His face did the same thing Marcus's brother's face had once done in a different country, on a different porch, the thing every liar's face does when the person they have been lying to appears in the room. Surprise, then joy. Then something practiced underneath, sliding into place. "Big brother, you are here. You came early." "I came on time, Kelechi. You knew when the bus was arriving." "Ah, but I thought you were coming tomorrow. I was going to slaughter the goat tomorrow." "Ah, Chinadu, you should have called me from the park. I would have sit down." "Kelechi, let me just drop this suya first. Let me sit down." Kelechi sat. He sat on the wooden bench across from Chinadu, and the plastic bag went on the floor beside his feet, and his hands went to his knees, and his eyes went to their mother, checking her face for what she had already told and what she had not. She looked back at him without flinching. "I told him about Ngozi," she said. "I told him about the boys. I told him about the house. That is what I told him. The rest of it, you are going to tell him yourself. Tonight, in this room, before you sleep." Kelechi's face went through several small movements. He looked at the floor. He looked at his sneakers. He looked at his hands. "Chinadu," he said. His voice had gone lower. "Chinadu, brother. Whatever Mama has told you, some of it is not exactly how she is remembering it. She is old now. She forgets small things. Let me explain, Kelechi." "Yes, do not do that. Do not do that in front of our mother. Do not sit in this house and call her old and forgetful because you think it will save you 5 more minutes. I am telling you now, as your brother, do not do it." Kelechi closed his mouth. Chinadu reached down and pulled the manila envelope out of his duffel bag. He set it on the low table between them. He did not open it. Every wire transfer. 5 years. Every single one. With the dates and the amounts. Some of them I remember without looking. The one from November 3 years ago, that was 120,000 naira, and you told me it was for a new roof for the house. The house that still has the same roof I grew up under. The one from April last year, that was 90,000. And you told me it was for Mama's medicine because her blood pressure was bad. Mama has not been to a hospital in 18 months, Kelechi, because she cannot afford the transport there. She told me herself tonight. Kelechi did not look up. "I am going to ask you one question, Kelechi. Only one. And I want you to answer it truthfully, in front of our mother, in this room where our father used to sit. Ask, brother. Where is the money?" Kelechi did not answer for a long time. The kerosene lamp on the low table flickered once and steadied itself. Somewhere at the back of the compound, a dog was barking at nothing. In the inner room, one of the boys made a small sleeping sound and turned over on the mattress. "Some of it," Kelechi said finally, "some of it went to real things. Chinadu. The bride price for Ngozi. The hospital when Ikenna was born. Mama's hip when she first heard it. Those things I did with the money you sent. I will not lie to you about those. And the rest of it? Kelechi's shoulders came down. His whole body seemed to shrink inside his black t-shirt. There is a woman in town. Her name is Chinasa. She is not Ngozi. She is somebody I met after Ngozi left. She has an apartment on the other side of the flyover. She has a satellite dish. She has a generator. She has air conditioning in the bedroom. I have been paying her rent for 2 years. I have been buying her things. When you send the money, some of it goes to her before it comes to Mama. That is where the television went. That is where the freezer went. That is where the tiled veranda went. All of that is in her apartment, brother. I have been building another woman's flat with the money you were sending for our mother's house. Their mother closed her eyes. She did not say anything. She just closed her eyes and let 2 slow tears move down her face. Does she know about the boys? Chinedu asked. She knows I have children. She does not know how many. She does not know I have a mother sleeping on the same mattress she slept on 30 years ago. She thinks I am a big man. Chinedu, she thinks I am somebody. When I am with her, I am somebody. When I come back to this house, I am nobody. So I go to her more. And I bring less back here. And Mama sells melons. And the boys eat Gary 3 times a day. And I tell myself it is temporary. Every month I tell myself next month I will fix it. And I never fix it. Chinedu was quiet for a long moment. He was surprised to find that he was not shouting. He had expected to be shouting. Something in him had gone very still instead. A stillness that came from finally seeing the shape of the whole thing at once. Kelechi, look at me. His brother looked up. His eyes were wet. Tomorrow morning, you and I are going to that woman's apartment. You are going to tell her it is over. You are going to bring back whatever furniture you bought there that can be carried. The television is coming here. The freezer is coming here. Whatever is left in that apartment stays with her as a parting gift, and I do not care if she screams. Then you and I are going to a lawyer. Everything I earn from tomorrow forward goes into an account in Mama's name and Ruth Iffy's name, that trader from the market. You will not be a signatory. You will receive a small monthly allowance from that account, enough for you and the boys to eat and go to school. Nothing more. When you can prove to me over 1 year that you are a father, we will talk about changing the arrangement. Not before. Chinedu, I am not finished. The house we grew up in is going to be repaired. Properly, not by you. By a builder I will hire myself and pay directly. Mama is going to sit on a real veranda before the year is out. And the boys, Ikenna and Chidubem and Abuka, they are my sons too from tonight. Whatever you are, or whatever you become, they will not go without because of it. That is not their fault. Kelechi put his face in his hands. I am sorry, brother, I know you are. Being sorry is easy. Tomorrow is what matters. Their mother opened her eyes then. She reached across the low table with both of her thin hands, and she took one of Chinedu's hands in one of hers, and one of Kelechi's hands in the other, and she held them together across the wood. My sons, she said, I have been standing all my life. Tonight, both of my sons are in this room with me. Tonight, I sit down. Outside, the night was full of frogs and the far sound of the city, and inside the small room with the flickering lamp and the leaning photograph and the sleeping children in the next room, a family began, very slowly, the long work of coming back to itself. If this story touched something in you, if it reminded you of someone in your own family who has been carrying more than they should, do not wait for a bus ride in a market stall to find out. Pick up the phone tonight, ask the real questions, and if you made it this far, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that stay with you. Tell me in the comments, what would you have done if you had been Chinedu standing in that market? I read every one. Peace.